Yes, students, please take your history book. Please take your history book and page number 53. We were discussing about the Vedic age, where two Vedic age, that means early Vedic age and later Vedic age. We have completed our discussion on early Vedic age. Now we are going to discuss the later Vedic age. And in later Vedic age, we were discussing about the political life. In this political life, the kingship and the power of the king, the emperor, that was emphasized, and for that the king used to take out the Ashwamedha Yajna. He has to conduct the Ashwamedha Yajna, and Ashwamedha Yajna was the horse sacrifice in which a horse belonging to the king was let loose. Surely not a horse will not go alone, followed by the soldiers. So wherever horse will go, the soldiers also will follow. Certain amount of, not all the soldiers. And so this horse used to roam all over the area, and wherever it goes, that land, the area, that region, that areas will be under the king. That means he has power over that area. But if horse is caught by another king, when it goes to the other territories of the other king, or the empire or the kingdom of other kings, if he happened to catch the horse, then catching the horse means challenging for war. That means I am not accepting your power. You cannot be emperor to me, and so let me face you. Then I'll fight. He had to fight the war with the king, and then if he wins, then his kingdom will be taken over. But if he loses, then that he has to be under the subjugation of under the sovereignty of the emperor. That was the policy. At the end, the king, if it was stopped, a war ensured. Later the horse was sacrificed. Afterwards, once the war takes place and all that is, then towards the end of the certain tenure, then the horse used to sacrifice. That means it was given to the gods. Horse was given to the gods. So horse was sacrificed, killed. Then Rajashwa Yajna was performed to grant supreme power to the king. Okay, that we have Chakravarti, Raja Chakravarti. Chakravarti means is the what called ruler of all that area, the supreme power, supreme powerful ruler of that area. Chakravarti. He has won over the kings, many other kings. Chakravarti. And so Rajashwa Yajna was performed to show the supreme power of the king. The king was elevated to the position of God's representatives on earth. That means God's representative. That means he was appointed, selected and elected by God. That was the understanding. That means the will of God is that this particular king should rule over this area. And people used to adore him next to God. People used to adore him or prostrate before him, or give reverence to the king beside God, like God. Okay, that was the political life of the people of the later Vedic age. Let us come to the second point, that is called social life of the people. What kind of social life they had? So here we will read that a later Vedic text fixed social boundaries. There was a social structure was made. Okay, so roles, boundaries, roles, status and rituals for each varna. How many varnas were fixed in earlier Vedic age? Early Vedic age we have seen the 4 varna system. What are the varna systems? Number 1, Number one, say everybody. Yes, Brahmanas, supreme one. Next to Brahmanas, Kshatriyas. Next to that, after Kshatriyas, Vaishyas. And the least one were the Shudras. So these were the Varna system. So this each Varna system had their own kind of sort of ritual. They had own status and the role to play in the social life of the people. The Varna system became hereditary and rigid. So this and they rigid means they will not be able to change the system. If they are Shudras, they remain throughout their life from ages and one generation to another generation as Shudras. They cannot be elevated to the Vaishyas or the Kshatriyas. Okay, that is it was very rigid. It was hereditary. That means if you are born to a father who is Kshatriya, then you become Kshatriya. And if you are Brahmins, then Brahmins. That was the hereditary. It was now almost impossible for a son to follow a profession of other than his father. So it was very strong. This Varna system was practiced very strongly. This was the this was the differences that brought. The two higher Varnas, that is Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, enjoyed privileges that were denied by the Vaishyas and the Shudras. That means they were given high respect. But Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. Vaishyas and Shudras were giving this respect to them. Next one is the Brahmanas occupied a higher position than Kshatriyas. But sometimes Kshatriyas claimed a higher political status than former. That means than the Brahmanas. That politically Kshatriyas were powerful. But in social status and the religious way, Brahmanas were, and the making of rules with concerns to the king, with the concern of the king, they were making the laws, rules and regulations of the society. How to go about in the society, they were mixed according to their whims and choices. During the later Vedic age, the caste system became very rigid. That Varna system later on changed into the caste system, which caste you belong to. And then there were many other subcastes, castes after caste, because of the social status. They were given very low social status. And so that appear subcastes appeared in this period on the basis of their occupation. This division divided the society sharply. That means this Varna system became caste system, and caste system divided the people into very many social groups. Okay, social groups and traditions groups. It was very. Now we have got a many caste system. We are still following that very shine. That hinders in our development. So, Brahmanas were associated with glory, teaching, and purity. That means they were most perfect people, considered to be most perfect people. They were given high position, higher than the Kshatriyas. Teaching, they were the only teachers. That means how to lead a life. They were fixed. Kshatriyas were associated with the strength, ruling, and warfare. That means political power they had. Vaishyas were associated with the marital prosperity and trade activities. The martial prosperity. That means they were given different kinds of art and artifacts they were making, and other strength and art and artifacts, prosperity and then trade activity, business, selling and buying things. Shudras were associated with the service of the higher varnas, higher castes, and menial jobs were given to them. Menial jobs means low grade of job. That means cleaning, washing, throwing the dirty things and all that. That kind of Brahmins alone could perform any kind of yajna. Only Brahmins were supposed to be the performer of the any yajna. Somebody will conduct it, but then performer will be Brahmins. They were seen as the bright bridge between the other varnas and gods. Thus, Brahmins established their stronghold over society. So that means they had very strong hold. They are very, very strong. Women seemed to have been largely confined to the domestic jobs or the roles. Household, domestic roles means household work. Looking after the children, cleaning and washing, then looking after the ordering the servants what to do and what not to do. All those things were there. Family affairs. So that was the condition of the society. So four ashrams later on this varna system, caste system, and this now beside that these two systems now we have got the ashram system. In life, all of the people in the society, there was this four ashramas. They have to go through these four ashramas. That was the rule made by the Brahmins. These ashrams they have to practice. What are the four ashramas? They were brahmacharya, grihastha, vanprastha, and sannyasa. 1, 2, 3, 4. Four ashrams. There were four ashrams. Now, according to Vedic text, life was divided into four stages or four ashramas. Whole life system was divided into four ashramas. That is called whole life system. So, this was apart from the caste system. Four ashrams were there that everybody and anybody can follow this. That is the sannyasa or brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa. Now, what are these? What are these? Now, so ashram, four stages or ashramas of different duties were assigned to each stage. The brahmacharya or the student life was first. Brahmacharya was the student life, learning life, probation period of life, brahmacharya, and they have to remain pure, and so that later on in their life they would lead accordingly. They will fix their life. So student life, learning life, the first stage of life was learning or brahmacharya. Second was the grihastha. What they have learned about life they have to practice in grihastha. That means they have to look after the household work. First of all, they have to be married. Grihastha, they have to be married and then look after the household work and the household job, whatever it is for the family and the society. The grihastha or the life of the householder was the second stage. The vanaprastha or the life as a hermit was the third stage. Hermit, that means they have to go through the vanaprastha. That means go to the jungle, live a secluded life. Okay, like a hermit, build a hut, remain in the hut and become hermit. No connection with the family members till here. So that kind of experience that the rishis, vanaprastha, they have to go to the vanaprastha. Now here I want to make a difference between vanaprastha and the exile, vanvas. Vanaprastha and vanvas was different actually. Okay, vanaprastha is anybody can go. They are not forced, but exile is forced. That means they have to go. If their family have decided or the society have got, they have to leave that and go. Vanvas for certain period of time. Here any amount of period. That is you have to decide. Vanaprastha. This is a third stage of life you have to go through. Finally, the sannyasa or the renunciation of worldly desires and was last stage. Sannyasa was the whatever is comfortable, whatever life that gives pleasure to you, that you have to forego, sacrifice, and then live a sannyasi life. Sannyasins are unmarried and married. They have given up the pleasure of marriage to God. For the sake of God and for his worship, they live for the spread of the religion. The spread of religion or the rules, the religious rules, and lead a pure life. Okay, it doesn't mean that the marital life is not pure. In that situation, in their own choice, this they have to live. If they are living very good life, marital life, looking after their children, wife, keeping them everybody happy, and doing their duties faithfully, sincerely, truthfully, they are not cheating others, then this is very good. But then sannyasas is more than that. They have to forgo all the comfort of the world. So worldly pleasures, worldly comfort, they have to forgo. That means give sacrifice and then go. Okay, next other things of our lesson, next discussion, the system of education, how it was, economic life, how was the economic life, and the religion, what kind of religious was there that time. We will discuss in the next video. Thank you.